Ooh, shiny. What's up, word nerds? It's Monday, and if you're anything like me, when you have a shiny new idea, you can't focus on anything else. So I thought I would take this opportunity to talk about world building. Now, I know the WordNerds have quite a few videos on world building and a live stream, so you should go check those out if you need more tips for world building. But today I'm going to be specifically talking about questions to ask yourself when world building that you wouldn't necessarily think of. So, starting out, one of the main things that I like to think about when world building, especially building this new world that I'm currently working on, is religion. In your day-to-day lives, you may not think about how religion affects you if you're not necessarily a religious person, but it does. Religion affects everything from the days we go to school and work to the holidays that we get off. So religion, it might not directly affect your character if your character is not a religious person, but it could definitely affect the world around them and the other people in that world. So that is something that you should definitely think about. Another thing that is good to think about is music in world building. I like to think about the type of music that my characters would be listening to, the genre of music. This is good for a fantasy story as well. My new shiny idea is a YA fantasy, and I am obsessed with listening to Irish music. Without giving too much away about my plot and my story, it is very reminiscent of the kind of feel that I am going for. When thinking about what music to put in your world, one thing to be really careful about is thinking about what instruments would be in your world. Now, your characters may never directly encounter any type of music. It might just be a good thing for you to have in your head, but think about if it is a high fantasy with no electricity, you're not going to have an electric guitar and grunge vocals for the local music. But if it's an alien race, you might want grunge music to be the type of music for them, and you wouldn't want, say, pan flutes or like a lyre. The next thing is animals. What kind of animals live in your world if it differs from our world? I know in my current story there is a water serpent that is the length of a human, about 6 feet long, that coils around their waist. And a lot of people have them as familiars and have them as pets. And in another world that is within the same story, there are fire lions. I haven't really named them yet, but they are lions with manes of fire. And these different animals are going to drastically change how your characters act in a world. If your characters are like in my story, they would not be shocked to see, a person walking around with a snake wrapped around their midriff. But let's say they've never seen a fire cat before, they're going to freak out. They're going to be like, what is that? That is not something that I am familiar with. That is not something that is in my ecosystem. And it's something to consider when world building. Another thing to consider that would drastically alter your character's day-to-day life is their education system. Do they have an education system like in America where you go to school starting from the age of 5 and you don't finish until the age of 17 or 18? Are the people there, do they get their education from tutoring and homeschooling? Do only the girls go to school? Do only the boys go to school? Do you go to school for as long as you do normally, or do you only go to school for 5 years? Do you go to school year-round, or do you go to school in regards to the agricultural calendar? There are endless possibilities that would drastically change your character's day-to-day life. The last question you should ask yourself in regards to building a new world is, what type of activities do they have that differ from? For example, I like to read. I read a lot. Maybe in this world they don't have books. Maybe the printing press hasn't been invented yet and all their books have to be written by quill, and so if your character is poor, then they would not be able to afford books. But maybe on this planet ice freezes at a higher point so they can go ice skating in the middle of summer. There's just different things that your character can do in day-to-day life that may not necessarily pertain to the plot that you have set for them, but it's important to, at least for you, to have an idea of their life, the town that they live in, the society, and things like that. That is pretty much all I have for you guys today. Join us on Sunday, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We are having our book club. If you haven't started either, grab a copy, read it, and come join us on Sunday. Bye!